Welcome to 2026. Here we go with our fabulous year in the number 10, and that is because 2026 adds up to 10. It's very simple, it's numerological. The number 10, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals 10. So what we're seeing on the screen right now is we're seeing a combination of the cards that are directly related to 2026. And those include the Fool because of the 0 in the 2026, the Magus because 10 contains the 0 and also the 1, the Magus, the number 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and then number 19, the Sun. And that is because 1 plus 9 equals 10. So these are all numerologically the cards that are related to this year. So 10, 0, 1, 0. So this is where we begin with the 0, 1, 0. 0 is the Fool, the space, the energy that spins into the number 1, which is the Magus, experiences the Magus. And this is us coming alive as the Magus. And we spin into existence and then we spin back out. And when we're spinning in, we spin right into the Wheel of Fortune. This is now occurring on our planet, the planet Earth, under the sun. So here we go. We tumble into the cosmological wheel of forces and forms. This is as we come alive on the planet, and we strive to find our way. We experience the Wheel of Fortune, and the esoteric title of the Wheel of Fortune is Lord of the Forces of Life. All the forces of life begin to come alive, and we begin to work with them. The astrology for the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter, and Jupiter is about expanding in our psychological, social, and spiritual life. And in this place, we explore, we learn, and we internalize. In this time, we go where no one has gone before. And that is because we are original, we are unique, and we are expanding. We begin to come alive. We practice seeing anew under the sun, and we begin to realize that creation is alive. And then we enter into the art of creation. We work with the Wheel of Fortune. And we work with the Tetragrammaton, which is central to the Wheel of Fortune. So the Tetragrammaton, these are teachings from the Western Mystery School. The Tetragrammaton consists of fire. These cards are the one of fire, one of water, one of wind, one of earth. The fire is Yod. This is part of the Tetragrammaton. It's symbolized by the wand, and the Yod is all about the fire energy coming alive. Water is hay, it's called hay, and it's symbolized by a cup. And that's all about the love. Fire's all about spirit, water's all about emotion and heart. And then there's the air or wind, va, the blade. And the blade is about analysis, the mind, getting to the point, getting clear. And then earth, hay, is the coin. This is Yod He Vahe, the coin, and that is our ability to move about the material world. So this is part of what the Magus is working with in the Wheel of Fortune. These are all moving. The objective in our entry in to this work is called the great work. And it's the great work of cosmological initiation. And the big question with the great work is, who are we really? And here's the Fool coming in. And this card is called the Great Work. And many of you will recognize this is the 10 of Earth, the Great Work, as we spiral into the center. The teaching is wholeness. And what is this wholeness? It's about learning about the many in the one and the one in the many. The realization of this teaching is we are the cosmological mystery unfolding as the one in the many, and also we contain the many within ourselves. We differentiate into one being becoming, and we engage in our calling, our life's work. Here we are as the Magus moving into our life's work, the number one being. And we seek to embody this mystery, which was and is always inside of us. And at the end, we appear to disappear. We dissolve into the field where the essence is remembered. And reformation or reformation is the rule. And what that means is everything moves back out into the field, but nothing is forgotten. It is not forgotten, but it reconstitutes in the field. The intelligence of the Wheel of Fortune is called conciliating. These are all teachings from the Western mystery tradition. We learn to equilibrate pairs of opposites, conciliating. The opposites are continually in rotation. And this rotation is a sequence of activity, a rhythm, its cyclicity, its periodicity, its ascent, its descent, its cause and effect. Conciliation means conciliation mediates emotion and it balances personality. So when we bring all these parts in, we start to become more balanced. As we practice, then we become increasingly efficacious in achieving the ends of our life's mission. This is when we move from a balanced position. And this is the feeling of how this needs to balance and wants to balance. And we have to keep readjusting. Upon differentiating into one being, a new sphere is created, a sphere out of the field of all possibility. And its self, that sphere itself, becomes the center of its own sphere. Then this one differentiates into one being, even as Earth differentiates, even as Earth itself has differentiated into a unique planet. You are a unique being on a unique planet. And this is a singular world. You are a singular world unto yourself. Earth is a singular world unto itself, all born of the dust of a star. And if you look at the diagram, you'll see all the pieces of Earth functioning together to make this planet. Born into the sphere of Earth, each of us becomes a unique sphere of stardust unto ourselves and unto our planet. Also, we live in a field of interconnecting spheres. Each sphere is unique, and each sphere is made of extant or already existing and emerging cosmological forces and forms. So these spheres keep arising and keep uh, being born, each one unique. These spheres wheeling interact and overlap and influence one another. We are influenced by the power of attraction, and the power of attraction draws us together with other spheres. And here I'm showing the Vesica Pisces, where two spheres overlap, come together because they're attracted. There's the power of attraction. Then something new is going to emerge out of that. Action becomes evolution. And the action is when we're drawn to something, it creates evolution. I put it, the evolution of the phone in here just for fun. And here is the evolution of a horse as we're getting ready to enter the year of the horse. So listen, listen, what is calling you? Because whatever is calling you has to do with the power of attraction. An attraction can come as a surprise. We never know. It can happen any moment, any day, anytime, and we could be attracted to anything that stops us in our tracks, anything that calls our attention. So pay attention. And again, here's the Vesica Pisces. We create together with and influence other spheres. So it's a continual process. It's happening all the time, all day, every day. The sphere of self is moved by external spheres, both known and unknown. So we're being moved all the time and we're moving all the time. Movement is what's happening. Each sphere is aligned and moved through interactions, and two spheres interacting can create a new sphere, the next dimension of becoming. In those places of overlap, things are generated and move out. This overlap in this sphere becomes a center of action, moving in a field of action. And this is a story, this is a personal story of how the author of this video was called, attracted, moved, and forever changed by entering a new sphere. And that sphere happened to be the library, which is a sphere in and of itself. So here's the story of entering the library. So one day I went to the library, and this was in the 80s, and I pulled a book off the shelf, or rather, it seemed like it fell off the shelf, and it was a book about tarot. I'd already been called to the Western mystery tradition. I felt the call, I heard the call, and this book fell off the shelf. And it was a book by Joseph Campbell that had to do with the tarot and the Western mystery tradition. So I checked out the book and took it home, and because I'm a Joseph Campbell fan, took the book home, opened the book, start reading it, and inside the book there was a tarot card. And that tarot card was the Wheel of Fortune from the Waite Rider deck. It fell out, and I thought, oh no, someone left their card in the book. So my first intuition, my first feeling was take the card back to the library because someone lost a tarot card and now their deck is incomplete. And the funny thing about that is my second thought was, no, don't take it back to the library because I live in a really small town. If I take it back to the library, I'm going to be identified as someone who is doing this kind of work. And this was in the 80s. Things were different then, very judgmental about tarot, which was not well known at the time. But I was captivated. I was really captivated. And I followed this intuition. I did not take the card back to the library. I still have the card. And that card lives inside my own tarot book that I wound up writing. Okay, so this is me in my sphere. And here is how my sphere overlapped. The next thing is the planet Earth. This is the planet. This is me on the planet Earth. This is me walking into another sphere, the library on the planet Earth, and receiving this tarot card. And all of this happens under a mystery that is too profound to even understand, to begin to understand. And the Sphinx represents the mystery. So I follow my dreams, I follow my attraction, I trust my intuition. And what happens? Wound up creating a tarot deck. And this is the Wheel of Fortune card from Tarot of the Spirit. Right. And we created this deck because we wanted to move the mystery school forward as we became more and more involved in the Western mystery tradition. The wheel is always turning. We are always attracted, and what seems to be the way it is changes. So we're living in this changing environment. Every day it is changing, shifting. So when this world changes, and we're walking through a world changing all the time, what happens to us as individuals? Our lives may change externally, but does our inner essence alter? This is a big question for us as spiritual students. The wheel is always in spin. And this is the ancient story, the ancient legend. The prince becomes the pauper becomes the prince, and it keeps going. This is a Wheel of Fortune card from the Visconti Sforza tarot deck, an old tarot deck. All of these wheels are turning all the time. The wheel of the year. Sometimes it's a time to sow. Sometimes it's a time to reap. Sometimes it's a time when the field goes fallow, continually moving around the seasons. The wheel of life is turning. We're born, we flower, we fruit, we wither, we die. All of this within this process of the turning wheel. We're also moving in a wheel of influences: fame, fortune, loss of fortune, loss of fame, matters of the heart, illness, sudden disaster. Any of these can happen in any moment. The wheel is also a moral compass, good and bad. How do we know what to do within this moral situation that is internal and external? We also move within a field of values, a wheel of values. We're always asking and working with what is most important to us? What are our highest values? Also changing, also moving. We move within a wheel of psychological and social influences. And with reflection, we do develop. Who will we become? So these are some of the psychological aspects of becoming. And you can always, if you want to go deeper into any of these slides, just go back, pause it, and look more deeply. Always changing. And then there's the wheel of fun. Pay to play. Here we go. Are we going to win? Are we going to lose? And the wheel of cosmic influences. The moon comes closer and changes things. The sun erupts in flares. We are always living within this as well. And then the wheel of spiritual practices. So here is a Buddhist wheel of spiritual practices: right meditation, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness. But the big question is, what constitutes right? And how will we know? The wheel of the cosmos is turning forever. And what often happens is we find ourselves clinging to the rim of the wheel in one exterior position. And then we travel the whole wheel in that position. So here I put out the fives, the five of water, which is about heartbreak, the five of wind, which is fear, the five of earth, which is any kind of physical problems, physiological problems, or problems with the physical world. And then the five of fire, which is struggle. It's a spiritual struggle card. And we can go around the wheel clinging to any one of those places. And for example, if you just take fear, okay, we can go around in fear and we can say, wow, things are getting better. I'm not so scared now. Like right now, it's about at the top of the wheel moving up, right? But then it starts to go down and then we get really scared again. Okay, so, but we go round and round and round in fear. And struggle is the one that I usually focus on, the five of fire, for going around the wheel, because a lot of us go around the wheel living in struggle. Again, when things are getting good, they're really good. When we're about to get a boon, there's anything, could be anything, some money coming in, whatever it is, or we're feeling right and good about our lives, but then we go over the top and it starts to go down, and then it's like, no, 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 I'm back in the struggle again, round and round and round in that struggle. So we can just stick in that place as the wheel turns. The teaching is to move from the center as the positions circle around us. Stay in the center of the wheel, drawing from all of the positions as we need them, staying in the center and becoming what is called the unmoved mover in the center of the wheel. Again, the question, when all the world is spinning, is there anything that doesn't change? This is a big part of our path. And the unmoved mover, this is a term from the Western mystery tradition. What happens when we become the unmoved mover in the center of the wheel? Tarot is a wheel that takes us to the center of our soul. Okay, tarot can answer our questions. Tarot teaches us how to create our fortune in a changing world of spirit, heart, mind, and body action. And any card you draw will guide you. As my uncle used to laughingly say to me after he received, I think it was the Ten of Swords in a reading that I did for him, he says to me, mocking me, there are no bad cards. Ha ha ha. But there aren't any. All of them move us, change us, and we develop this way. Tarot takes us to the center of our soul. And here is a wheel of tarot from, this is out of Kabbalah and Tarot of the Spirit, and it shows many of the relationships of tarot as a wheel and how they fit together. The wheel of tarot aligns with the zodiac, with our number system, our letters system, our archetypes, our psychology, our sociology and our mythology. And if you look at this chart, you can come back to it, but you could find your birthday and you can see what all your cards are. Or today, we happen to be in the Four of Earth. That's the card for today, which is power. It's a card of power. And it's Capricorn. It aligns with Wind Brother, Wind Sister, and the One of Wind. So it's very, very fortuitous, very auspicious day. So it's a day of power. We are in a day of power, a day of power of the mind. Tarot also outlines the hero's journey. So we can also put this in a circle. So there's a place where we begin, we're called to adventure, we meet a mentor. This is Joseph Campbell. Crossing a threshold, going through trials and failures. Then we have growth. We have a very scary place of death and rebirth. And then out of that comes a revelation. And then there are changes. We atone for anything we need to atone for. Then we get a gift. We return changed. And then we begin again. So this is the classic movement and definitely the classic film movement. So I put the film strip there. Our classic movement through all of the cycling again and again and again of our own journey as the hero's journey. The hero's journey, by the way, is also the fool's journey. So, in our study of the mystery school and the tree of life, we see that the wheel of fortune fits on the tree of life between the number 4 and the number 7. And if you haven't looked into this and you don't know what this means, I have a lot of videos on this, so you can just go look more. But between number 4 and number 7, so the number 4 is a place of stabilization and it's a steady state. Okay, we're in a steady state, but then comes the wheel turning, and what happens is it disrupts us and we wind up in the number 7. Well, 7 is the sphere of the vision quest, and this is where we seek new information. And as we get this new information, it goes back and acts on number 4. So the 4 acts on the 7 acts on the 4, and the Wheel of Fortune is the catalyst for that movement. Einstein seeking new information. That is between the 4 and the 7, the Wheel of Fortune. If we want to change the world, we have to change our thinking. No problem can be solved from the same conclusions that created it. We must learn to see the world anew. And that's what we're doing in the Western mystery tradition and the ancient mystery school and futuristic mystery school. Let's look again. So these are symbols of the Wheel of Fortune card from Tarot of the Spirit. First of all, the yod is a major symbol, and that's creative. That's called the creative hand. So yod is a Hebrew letter, and it runs down the middle of the card on the pencil, and you see these little squiggles on the pencil, and those are actually a letter. And then there's another letter called Kaf, the hand that grasps it. Those are two major symbols, and that one's on the bottom of the card. You can see it on the bottom. Okay. And this is all part of the hero's journey, the creative hand and the hand that grasps it. Our challenge is to find the still, balanced place at the center, even as the wheel continues to roll. Tarot is the wheel within which we can learn how to stay centered during the journey. And that's what we're looking for, staying centered, maintaining balance. The wheel of Tarot helps us leap into new becoming while staying balanced. And this is the Fool. The Fool comes into the wheel of Tarot as the great unknown and one who learns, and then lands in the middle and experiences everything within the wheel. At the center of the wheel, we learn to embrace our passages. And here's the Fool at the center. We internalize the teachings of the wheel, the whole wheel. And we don't have to do this alone. We can balance with others. We don't have to inhabit our own sphere. I call it sola, being alone. And now here's another story I want to tell you. This is a children's story about the spinning disc. Okay, so this is me. Again, this is autobiographical. Once upon a time, there were 22 kids lined up at a fun house. Okay, so a fun house was a place. I don't know if they do have them anymore. I don't know if they exist anymore because I think they were pretty dangerous. A fun house is where you can go inside, maybe at an amusement park, and experience all these different things that make you fall down, that throw you somewhere. And you have to keep maintaining your balance. They're probably illegal now for liability reasons. Anyway, so here's the fun house. Here are the kids in a line. And what these kids are going to do is they are going to go in and they're going to go on these rides, so to speak. Okay, so here's this ride. The ride is a spinning disc. So you have to imagine this horizontally. This is going to be a wooden disc. It's probably it's probably about maybe 12 feet across. It's pretty big. And you run in, you stand in line, and then when it's your turn, you run in, you sit on this disc, and then this disc starts to spin, 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 spin. And then it throws you off. So you get thrown off into the metal rails surrounding it. Okay, this is really true. Okay, so what happened with me was uh, I saw that, so I was just a little kid, but I saw that the person who got to the middle of the disc did not get thrown off. And I thought, well, that's a feat. That's good. That's where I want to be. I want to be in the middle. So I would stand in the line, I would get to the front of the line, and then I would let all the rest of the kids go by. And then when the line closed, all the kids would be on the disc. I'd be at the front of the line. So when the next one started, I'd run to the center of the disc. So this is me. Every single time now, I'm in the center of the disc. I did this for years, right? Years. I loved this thing. So I loved it. So I'm in the center of the disc. I'm going round and round and round. I'm not sliding off the disc, but it got boring all alone in the middle of the disc. So I thought of this idea. Hey, let's get the first few kids who get on after me, right? And let's link arms. So we would link arms together and see if we could have three people linked arms together, but in the middle. And then we would go around and around and around without flying off. Well, how many kids could you link up? This became my question. How many kids can you link without flying off the disc? So it started to look like you could really link up quite a few kids if the whole thing was balanced. So this is the model. This is the model of the disc. It goes from the one to the many. So here we are. Here's all the kids linked up. I have to take myself out of the center there, but all the kids linked up, and I'm one of the kids. And here we go. And we all stay in position. Of course, if somebody breaks on, somebody always wants to break that arm hold to make it more fun. And then well, I'll go flying. Okay, so the kids link arms and stay on the wheel together. Now, here we are together. You see where I'm going. So we're all interconnected locally in our circles and also globally with all our energies that are flying out all over the planet. Affinity groups. That's what this is about. Spheres of affinity groups. Affinity group, what is that? Joining the groups that call you into balance and meaning and purpose with others. What calls you? And we can stay balanced, better balanced when we work together. So these are the teachings of the wheel, to know that the wheel is always going to be turning and then work within those energies. Okay, so here's more about the symbology of the wheel. First, it has to do with what we can control and what we can't control. we have to ask ourselves this question about what we can intervene in and what we can't. So, first of all, the upper circle of the wheel of fortune is a spinning disc. And on this spinning disc, you can see the letters TARO. And then if you look again, ROTA and ORAT. So, those are all secret codes at the top. And those stand for tarot, as you might guess. Rota, which means the rotation, the turning. Aura means the speech that comes out. And then there are four alchemical symbols: the mercury, which has to do with movement; sulfur, which is the ignition of spirit; Aquarius, which is dissolution, dissolving; and salt, which means birth and death. All these things are happening at the top of the wheel. Then there's also the six-pointed star, and the six-pointed star is the two triangles coming together: upward pointed triangle, downward pointed triangle, and it indicates balance, a balanced movement. Then there's the X in the middle, or a plus, depending on which way it's oriented. The plus is stands for the four elements of fire, water, air, and earth. And here's the Sphinx again to indicate that the mystery abides, and we can only control part of our destiny because there are many variables that we can't control. But what part can we control? That's our question. And then on the lower part of the wheel, uh, this is holding our fortune in our own curved palm. This is the part we can create or we can work with. And holding our fortune in our own curved palm, that is a saying or statement from the mystery school. And it's about our palm, palm reading, what is in our palm, what we came in with, and then what we can change. So when we talk about what we can change and what we can't change, that's our karma. Mutable karma is everything we can change. Immutable karma is all the things that exist that we can't do anything about, like the circumstances we were born into. We can't do anything about that immediately, but through our lives, we can change the meaning of all that. Okay, and then there's the Hebrew letter for the wheel, which is the letter Kaf, and it's a palm. It means palm or fist, and it means the hand that grasps it. This has to do with proactive co-creation, this whole configuration of the wheel. These Hebrew letters also appear in the field of the wheel that, as I mentioned these before, that it's called the Tetragrammaton, Yod He Va He. And putting these four together, the fire, the water, the air, the earth, this Tetragrammaton, they say, begins and ends all the worlds. The combination of these elements and these forces and forms that come with these elements. Then also there's this pencil. It's a pencil and it goes down the middle of the card. That is actually a pencil. And going down the middle of the pencil are 10 of those yods, the letter that I already mentioned, the creative hand. Those 10 yods spin around and around and around. And then on the middle pillar of the tree of life, because I think you all know that each one of these cards is painted on a diagram of the tree of life. That's the middle pillar right there. So they move down the middle pillar, up and down, and then spin out new works, our new works. So the pencil hits the middle of a spinning disc at the bottom, and that disc at the bottom has four aspects to it: the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. And then all our new works are born out of that. So this wheel is all about rhythm, cyclicity, periodicity, ascent, descent, cause and effect, and change. And then the mediator in the conciliating intelligence stands at the center of the wheel. And this is the energy of the I am, the recognition I am and I am in the center of the wheel. The mystery is the great work. I am centered and empowered with and in cosmological spirit. I am centered and sustained within cosmological heart. And in this place, all opposing forces reconcile in the cosmological field. I engage in the great quest from cosmological center. This is the mystery of the Wheel of Fortune. This is the mystery we are inside of. As the fool, as the zero, as part of this mystery, you are born in and out of and into zero. You practice into zero. Zero is the place, it's the place of the fool, beginner's spirit, beginner's heart, beginner's mind, beginner's action. You're born in and out of this. We practice into it. We're stunned into it. And out of zero, the awakening and receptivity potential emerges and evolves. All potential. Possibility appears at any time, any space, above, below, outside, or inside. You are the cosmic experiment, living inside the cosmic experiment. We live inside this place and we move the elements as we can. You wield the fire, the water, the wind, and the earth. You are creative cosmos, furling and unfurling patterns and sequences inside and under. The mystery under is the Sphinx, the mystery of the Sphinx. You work the internal wheel and your works flow outward. And the world then around spontaneously erupts, and the eruptions go in and out. And that which was unknown is suddenly known, and that which was concealed is suddenly revealed. And this is happening all the time. You are the witness. You are the creator, and you witness your own creations. You are born into and as one and zero. This is 10. You are born into immutable and mutable karma. You ask, what is mutable? You choose what and how to change. And then in this brief interplay of life that we have as we know it ourselves, who we are right now, in this brief interplay between 0 and 1 and 0 again, you select within and beyond the slots of the wheel. So you sit in the center and then allow pieces of the energies to come into you. Choose them. We choose them. Instead of going around the rim, being stuck in a position, we can sit in the middle and bring in. Now is your moment. You are your time. You are your cause and your effect. You are your cause. Okay, and I'll say something about effect right now, just very briefly. If you set your intentions on a particular cause and you become a particular cause, whatever that means, have a better chance of reaching an effect that you want to bring about than if you don't set your intentions. Okay, but there are always going to be intervening variables that we cannot control. That is the immutable karma that we can't change. And so it will be coming in, and then as each thing arises, we need to deal with it. So as we walk this path, and as you walk this path of the Wheel of Fortune, consider your essence. What is it? What is the deepest part of yourself that doesn't change? Your sphere, the sphere you live in and the sphere you're creating, your quest, what is it? The spheres you create and the spheres you align with, your direction, your journey, your compass, your choices, your practice. What are you made of? What is your cause? And how are you cause? So now we're going to leap in 2026. Like the Fool, we're going to leap into the earth plane, considering all of these different aspects of our lives and ourselves. And here we go again with the Fool leaping into the center of all of the possibilities in the tarot, all the different archetypes, all the different aspects of movement. And I'm throwing this in at the end. If you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own. That is a quote from Scoop Nisker, who was a person who broadcasted the news, San Francisco, 1970s, and also wrote a fabulous book called Crazy Wisdom. All right, if you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own. And here we go, 2026, the wheel is turning and we are ready. We are good to go. So let the celebration begin. These are the texts that we're working with and the background for this video today. And I just want to say again, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm with you. Let's go. And this ends our video on the Wheel of Fortune.